Hi Floss Tube, it's Tiffany. Long time no see. It's been a while and I've missed you guys a lot. It has been 2 years since I've posted a video on here, which is so sad. But so much has happened. So much has happened, by the way. Just always ignore my mess. I think I've told you this in almost every video, but I will fill you guys in really quickly on where I'm at 2 years later from my last video. And I've been stitching again. So I get to show you guys some stuff. I have a finish. I have a whip that I've been working on actively, 2 whips. And then I have a little whip parade just to get everybody caught up on where I'm at today, on what I have still pending. So life update, 2 years. What all has happened? Well, the biggest thing is I had another baby. He is 7 months old. His name is Jackson. So I have Carter. You guys have met Carter. He is 5.5 now. So super big. Maybe I'll have him come say hi in a video in a couple weeks. But he's 5.5 and Jackson is 7 months old. And I will insert a picture here of him. He's a little ham. He's so cute. And I had him, I moved, I bought a house. So that's an update. I bought the house, it'll be 2 years in November. So I think I was starting the process of looking at houses around the time I filmed my last video on here. My boyfriend lives here with us. He has been here for a year, about a year. He's lived here, so that's cool. And we are actually looking to buy a house and move. So my son is going to school in a different school district than what we live in. It's a long story. We'll get into that another day. But we're looking to move, get a little bit more land. We're excited about it. So we're working through that process right now. I am still working for the same company I was working at 2 years ago in the same industry, but my role has changed. So after I had the baby, when I came back, I switched over to a more of an outside sales role. Before I was doing more of an operations role, leading a team of people. So now I do outside sales and I've been working at home since March 18th. So today is the 2nd of July. So I am well over my 3-month mark of being home in the house. My little baby just started daycare up again because I do have to work full time. He was home with me up until Monday of this week. So I kept the baby home, plus was working full time, plus had my 5-year-old 50% of the time because I do share custody with his dad. So it has been a little hectic. My house is a disaster. That's why I told you not to look at this. That is the next project that I'm going to conquer, is getting the house organized. And yeah. I think that's the big stuff. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot more stuff that's happened, but we'll touch base on that over the weeks that I film these videos. I'm sure things will come up. But yeah, I think that's all. I miss you guys. I have been catching up on FlossTube a little bit. I stayed following everyone. I never unsubscribed to anything. But I haven't logged into this channel in a long time. But I still watch Priscilla and Chelsea pretty regularly. I saw Nell from Little Yellow House Crafts came back, and I've been catching up on all her new videos, which, by the way, she is a stitching machine. The girl inspires me. 8 finishes every 2 weeks. Like, are you kidding me? I have 4 finishes in my entire life. And that's not an exaggeration. One of them you have never seen, but I will show you today. And y'all are going to be proud of me. I still talk to Kelly. We have stayed in touch. We stitch together sometimes on FaceTime and in chat. So I've stayed in touch with her over the past few years. But other than that, I haven't really stayed in touch with anybody. I miss you guys. Definitely in the comments below, kind of let me know what you've got going on. What's going on with your life? Reach out. I want to reconnect with this community. I really enjoyed it before. And I was watching my last video just to kind of see where we left off. And I was saying that some things were going on in my life that were pretty intense, but I have no idea what they were. I really don't know. So, something was going on, but I couldn't tell you. So, anyway, that's it. That's all my update for my life, I think. So I guess I'm gonna jump in. I want to show you guys what I finished. Like I said, you're gonna be proud of me. I'm proud of me. It's 2 years in the making. And then I have a whip that I've been actively working on for the last month and a half. Quarantine has been good for me. I have been stitching more than I have in the past 2 years. I really didn't stitch. Oh, that's the other thing I wanted to tell you. So when I bought the house, I had a lot of expenses come up that I wasn't used to. And I had to get rid of some extra things that I didn't need. Like I needed to sell some stuff because I just had some right then expenses, which I'm totally in a different financial place than I was then. But then it was tough. So I sold all my cross stitch stuff, all of it, except for my whips. I kept obviously my threads and my fabrics that I had kitted up. And I kept my working copies for those patterns. But I sold everything else. I sold all my patterns. I sold all my fabrics. I sold all of my Victorian Motto sampler threads, which Kelly has those. They're in a good home. Even though it is sad, I miss them. But she loves them, I'm sure. So I'm happy they went to a good home. But I sold most of my stuff. So that's that. I don't have I don't have the front of the patterns to show you. So most of the patterns I have kitted up that I'm going to show you in like a whip parade, you'll recognize, but I can't like show you the picture because all I have is the pattern. So maybe I'll go print them off online for the next video so that I have them to actually hold up. But I don't currently have any of the front covers of anything because I don't have the actual pattern. And that's where we're at. So I'm gonna fill you in on what I've finished. So I do have the pattern for this because I was so far into it and the pattern is a disaster. It's in 2 pieces. That it wasn't anything I was gonna sell. But I finished Beauty and the Beast by Soda Stitch. You guys, are you proud of me or are you proud of me? I worked on this thing for 2 years. And here she is, all in all of her glory. That's her. She's all done. You can see it all. So I love this. I think it turned out beautiful. Those Soda Stitch patterns are no joke, man. No joke. But we got her done. I do not remember what fabric this is. I know it's from Picture This Plus. I want to say that it's the Sparkly Sand, but I don't have the tag on it anymore, so I don't know. But I think that's what it is. It's the one with the sparkle on it. I don't know if you guys can tell, but it has like a sheen to it. You can maybe kind of tell. It has like the little glitter specks in it, but I think it's sand with glitter. I don't know what count it is though. I want to say 32, but do not quote me on that. So I finished that. That's exciting. I need to get it fully finished. I have a frame for it that will fit it perfectly, but it is at my parents' house. So I need to get it and get that framed and laced and framed and all of that stuff. The next thing I have is a whip. If you look back in my last video, I took a screenshot. I'll insert it here. Of where I was on this last time I worked on it. But this is my Strawberry Fields Forever pattern or project. So this is how far I am now. So I think last time you saw it, I think my border ended about here. Like this was all done. And then this like section was done. And I think I've added the bird and then like this border all the way down, this brick, the house. So I've done a lot since you saw it last. This is on 40 count fabric by, I think by Picture This Plus, but I have no idea what it's called. I know it's 40 count though. It's itty bitty because it's on 40 count. Like it's like, this is the full length of the pattern and this is the full width of the pattern. So it's a little guy, but that is where I'm at on that. And I did kit this up with all Victorian Motto sampler threads. If you go to my last video, Floss Tube number 10, you will see I go through all of the threads and show you the colors. So I'm not gonna do that now. We'll be here forever if I do that. But yeah, so that's where I'm at with that one. And then the next whip is also my haul. So I Had to take my son to the dentist this week. He had to get his front 2 baby teeth pulled. It's a long story, but basically, since I've seen you last, he face planted into a marble step and lacerated his gum, had to get stitches, and it killed the roots of his front 2 teeth. And that was almost 2 years ago. And they said they would fall out on their own, and they never did. And they actually eroded from the inside out, and he had a hole all the way through his tooth because it was dead. So it didn't have any blood flow or anything going to it. And the nerves were dead. And so we had to get them pulled because they could get an infection. So I was at the dentist, and our dentist is literally 1 shopping center down from my local LNS. One of them, actually both of them. Both of my local LNSs are like on the same street, like catty corner to each other. And I went to one of them, and I felt like I should support a local LNS during this time because I am lucky to have one. I know that. And I know that with the current quarantine and the layoffs and all of the stuff that they have to be struggling. So I felt like since I could, I should go support their business. So I bought a pattern and I kitted it up with fabric and thread and I started it. So I've had a tough time with it though, which I'll get into. I've had to frog it twice already because your girl has been out of practice. I haven't actually started a project like fresh in 2 years. And I forgot to like figure out, I forgot how to figure out where to start, I guess, because I was way off. I thought I knew what I was doing, but I didn't. But I figured it out. We got to the bottom of it. Where's my, there it is. So I have never seen anybody stitch this. I just saw it and my son was with me and we were looking through patterns and it caught my eye as something that I thought was cute and bright and happy. And that's kind of what I wanted to stitch. So this is Country Cottage Needleworks Garden Party. And I am stitching it a little bit different than the way it's oriented here. So obviously they have it in a square. I'm actually gonna do it long, one box after the other. So I will show you where I'm at. So I am stitching this on 28 count mushroom Lugana, and I'm using the called for threads. So I have like a longer piece of fabric. And this is what I have done so far on it. So let me fold it to where the light, you can actually see what I've done. So I've got like the bottom corner of the first block done all the way to, I think it like ends right here where my finger is. And then I got the little flower done, and this is the ladybug block. But the initial time I stitched this, I did it too far in from this edge. So I had to rip everything I had done out, which wasn't quite this much, but it was fairly close to this much, which is what's sad. Had to rip it all out and move it over an inch. And now we're good. But then I tried to do some work up here. I got off by half a stitch, had to frog that out. So frogged a big section of this twice, which is sad. But I'm really enjoying it. I really like the colors of it. And I'm gonna try to finish the ladybug block before I put this back down, because once the border's done, it should be pretty quick. Like the ladybug is pretty dense, I guess, but it's pretty straightforward where you can just fill it in. The border is the densest part of the pattern. So I think I should be able to get the inside of the block done pretty easily once I get the border in. So that's the plan, is to try to do that first block before I move on to something else. And I did kit that up with all of the called for threads. I'm missing 4. They didn't have them in stock. So I'm missing Deep Blue Ocean, Deep Blue Sea, Yeah, Deep Blue Sea, Bean Sprout, Hickory Sticks, and Snowball. So I'm on a waiting list for that. They're gonna call me when they get them in, but I have plenty to do on it until I need that. Actually, I wonder, because I wanted to do the words for Ladybug, but I bet you it's in Hickory Sticks. Yep, I knew it. So I won't be able to do the words on Ladybug or part of the border, but I have the stuff to actually stitch the Ladybug. And, oh, but I can't do the Ladybug's body or its spots. How sad. Well, I won't be able to finish the Ladybug because I don't have Hickory Sticks, but that's okay. I have other stuff I can work on with it, or I can just work on one of these whips behind me that I'm about to show you. So that's everything that I have made progress on in the past 2 years. for the most part. You'll see on my whips, there's a couple things I stitched on since I talked to you last, but I stitched on them like right after I talked to you last and did not pick them up for 2 years. So there's very little progress on them, and most of them, there's no progress on them. But I'm just gonna show you where I'm at on everything. And that way we're all caught up, and that way when I take out a whip and I work on it and I have progress, we have like an up-to-date, fresh start, because it's been a long time. So let's do it. There's not very many. It shouldn't take too long to go through these, but okay. Like I said, I don't have any pictures of the patterns, but most of these you guys should know what they look like, or you can go to my last videos and see what they are. I will try to print out the front page of the patterns so that you guys can see them. But I only kept the patterns that I had started working on, because I didn't feel like, you know, it didn't feel like it was right, but I also already had started working on them. So I kept only the patterns for my whips and then sold the hard copies. So that is Here Lies My Needles by Shakespeare's Peddler. I have no progress on this since you saw it last in my last video. But yeah, it's here, it's a whip. I'm using most of the called for Weeks Dye Works and Gentle Arts, but I do have some DMC thrown in there because I didn't have, or the LNS didn't have the color I needed or something. So that is that. Next, I have my Prairie Life sampler. Oh, and on the Shakespeare's Peddler, I don't know what that fabric is. I didn't know what that fabric was when I started it. It's a Weeks Dye Works fabric, but it was gifted to me, so I'm not sure what it is. This is my Prairie Life sampler. This I am stitching on 40 count, 2/2. No, 1/2. 1/2. And I kitted this up with Victorian Motto sampler threads. And I do still have all the threads for this project. So I have not made any progress on this since you saw it last, but that is where we are at. That is our new starting point for our fresh start. And I'm not gonna go through all the colors. I did pull one of the colors from this to go in my Strawberry Fields project. So that one is in there, but this is my Victorian Motto. It's a very primitive color palette. I love it. It's really pretty. You can kind of see all the colors. There's a lot of them, but yeah. So that's that. Next whip is on 40 count Sand by Picture This Plus. And this is called Stitcher's Quilt, I think, by Kiori Bada Kiori. Let me take my little Q-snap cover off so you can see what I've done. This, I do have a little bit of progress on it since you saw it last. So last time you saw it, I only had this leaf done, and I only had like a little bit, oh, that's sideways, sorry guys. I had like a little bit of this top border done. So I've extended the top border, and I added the flower, and I added this other little leaf guy. So that, and then this little heart down here. So I added a little bit to this since you saw it last, but not too much. So maybe it does go this way. I think it does go this way. I don't know what I was thinking. So I added more border going down. It's a little crazy. It's not straight, but it is a square. So that's where I'm at with that one. Where did I put my bag? This I kitted up with just the DMC. I think it goes in here. With just the DMC. So nothing too crazy there. Next is, oh, this one I'm excited. This is probably gonna be the next whip I work on, and it's technically gonna be a new start because I started it and I don't like it. I didn't use the thread the way I should have in order to get the optimal variegation, and I really wanted the variegation in the barn, but it looks solid because I didn't do it right. And so I am scrapping this. I'm not using this fabric exactly anymore, and I'm starting it over. So I have enough pieces of, this is the new fabric I'm using. It is called Raw by Natural Cashel 28 count raw. And I can do 4 of the patterns on one piece. So I have 3 pieces. So I could do all 12. And I'm gonna start over and get the variegation right and all of that. So that is the next whip that I will probably pick up and get a little bit of progress on, and hopefully a finish, because I think I could finish one of those pretty quickly. I just got discouraged because my variegation wasn't where I wanted it to be. This is a project I did keep the pattern for because I just couldn't get rid of it. It's my Eliza Bellcox. We did a SAL for this with Julie and everybody a couple years ago. I'm not sure how far anybody is on this. I need to look, but I'm not very far. I can tell you that much. I did kit this up with the Victorian Motto Sampler Shop thread pack that they put together for this. So I do have all the threads from that. And this is on a huge piece of 40 count fabric, like the biggest piece of 40 count fabric. I have no idea what type of fabric this is, but I have, so if you look at the pattern, I started in the middle. You see his little foot right there on that branch? That's what your girl has done. I have his foot. So that's where we're at with that. In my pretty project bag that we got for the SAL, and needle minder we got for the SAL and everything. I have all the bells and whistles, but I have not made much progress on this. Next is Chalk on the Farm, one of the first collaborations with, or one of the first Chalk on the Farms with Priscilla and Hands On Design. And this is how far I am on that. I do not know what fabric this is. Looks like 32 count chalkboard, or I don't know what this is, but that is where I'm at on that with my cute little chicken needle minder. And this is kitted up with most of the called for, and then I have one DMC that I had to pull because they did not have the color that I needed. I might have that color now because it's a pink and I just bought a bunch of pinks, but I'll have to look. Next whip, also one of my favorites, but I know I have to do frogging on this, which I think is why I put it down, because I was very disappointed in myself. But this is my Lizzie Kate monthly charm something or other, and I have it on a very long piece of fabric. Pretty sure it's 28 count fabric. And I finished January, I finished February, and I started March, and the house is off. So you see how this blue lines up and this blue hangs off the edge? Something's wrong with the house. I don't know what I did. Haven't quite figured it out, but it's off by a stitch. So I think I might have to frog the whole house, I think is what I had determined when I looked at it last time. I don't know. I got to go back and relook at it. It's been 2 years, so I don't really know what I did wrong or how to fix it, but I need to look at it. I know that's why I put this down though, because something's wrong in there. Something is off. So that is that. That is in all the called for Weeks Dye Works threads. Next is a freebie that I had started, and I have to frog this one too, which is why it got put down. I need to be better about just frogging it. I'm proud of myself because I frogged my new one twice. But this is Brooks Books freebie Spring House. It's all wrinkly. I have all the houses printed out. I don't know if these are still on her website, but the website is brooksbooks.com. So this is from 2013, Spring House. And I am doing this in the DMC. I have this on Ice Blue, 32 count Ice Blue Belfast. And what I have done, which it's hard to tell from what I'm going to show you, some of these flowers down here, part of the house right here, and the door, but the door is off by half a stitch. So I have to frog the entire door, which is why I put this down. I remember I worked on it on an airplane going somewhere, and while I was on the airplane, I realized I was off by half a stitch, and I just put it away and called it a day. But there's my little flowers down here, some grass, the yellow house, and then my door, which I have to take out. And then I can work on this one again. I mean, I could still work on it other areas, but I didn't. All right, and then next is Lizzie Kate, How to Be a Mean Mother. I am stitching this in all the called for threads. on 28 count lamb's wool, which is like the stiffest fabric in the whole wide world. And I would never stitch on this again, but I already had it kitted up for this, and so I'm gonna finish it. But I only have the center part of the pattern done. As you can see, I need to work on this again. I really like this chart, and I like stitching Lizzie Kate's. They're bright and cheery, and the words are pretty easy, so it goes pretty fast. So I need to work on that one. But that is that width. And then last but not least is kind of a funny one. This is the one I think I've shown you guys before. My son picked it out off of Etsy, and it's like all of the Batman villains, and he asks me about it all the time. So I do need to finish this. It's so quick. I don't know why I haven't finished it, but this is what it looks like. It's not in color, but these are all the villains. So you've got Penguin, Poison Ivy, Two-Face, the Joker, Harley Quinn, Bane, and Riddler. See, my 5-year-old has me educated. I know all of the villains. But I am stitching this on 32 count Dawn by Picture This Plus. And this is where I left off. So we've got Joker, Harley Quinn, and Bane done. I just have to add Riddler over here, and then the other 4 go this way. So I just have, I'm almost halfway done. So I just need to add them. He loves them, and he asked me about it like literally last week. He's like, when are you gonna work on my project? So I need to get that done for him. That is all the whips I have in here. I feel like I have one more. I just don't know where I put it right now. It's Spring Birds by Country Cottage, I'm pretty sure. But I don't know where that's at. So if I find it, I'll show it to you guys. I started that since you saw me last. You've never seen me start that, but I don't know where it is right now. So that's everything. This isn't too long. I thought it was going to be a longer video. We're at 26 minutes, but I am hoping to film every 2 weeks, get back in the swing of things, get back into the community. Yeah. So I missed you guys, and I look forward to chatting with you guys in the comments, and I will see you in a couple weeks.